So we're going to be talking about the iPad or mobile tools, and I'm only going to be speaking mainly because the iPad, because that's my experience. But as technology continues to go, other applications. I don't know if we have any more handouts. Do we have any more handouts?
Yep.
More handouts. As technology continues to grow, other devices, they're becoming, they're talking to each other a lot more. So, but we're going to be talking about the iPad in particular, and I really believe that the iPad and these mobility devices, I don't think there's an industry better suited to use them than our industry. When you think about being able to do contracts, store information, video, photos, mobility out on the road, our days change from hour to hour, so always have that flexibility is a huge advantage. So first of all, I just want to say some ground rules for the presentation today. Number one, I don't want to hear you're younger and you grew up with it. I was in real estate before I sent my very first email. My job as an assistant in a real estate office at 15 years old was to open up the catalog and to update the catalog. This is sold, and so the technology is new to all of us, and it's just your ability to adapt it. And where I think technology is for realtors in the real estate industry is a huge opportunity. And I was talking to a business guy the other day when we were talking about some marketing things, and we sort of came up with an analogy as where we are as far as realtors and technology. I think it's a lot like surfing, and there's a wave on us right now, and you can paddle like crazy and catch the wave and only paddle for a couple minutes, and it's going to be awesome, and the wave will do most of the work, or that wave will go by, and no matter how hard you paddle, you'll never ever catch up. And I kind of think that's where we are with technology, because our society is going mobile, and our society is our client. So this is not, we haven't chosen this. This is society wants this to happen, so we have to adapt to that. Ask tons of questions in a group this big. Sometimes the questions can get overwhelming. We will be taking a break at an hour, and then afterwards I'll stay behind and answer questions. But I know there's a couple of people who have taken this presentation before. Bob's been here and Steve's been here, and we're not going to teach you the ins and outs of all these applications and how to use it. It just can't happen in 2 hours. So the hopes is to get you to realize, yeah, this is something that I have to implement into my business, and then we'll take it sort of the next level afterwards. And I've made an offer every presentation I've ever given. If you ever want to phone, call me and ask me questions, you want to get together for lunch, you want to come out to the office, whatever you want, I'm always going to be available for you guys afterwards. So take that. So as far as comfort level, who owns an iPad already? All right, so most of the room. And who's using it in their business day to day? Okay. I think that's about it. So talk about a little bit about the history of how we became mobile or paperless in particular. About 8 years ago, a new technology called Realty Nuance was brought to our table. That's adapted throughout RE/MAX Little Oak. And myself and 4 other agents were the guinea pigs for a year before its initial release. And once we got our hands on that, we realized that we didn't actually need to have an office in the office anymore, because we only really had that for the filing cabinet sharing with my team. So our filing cabinet was able to go online, and then about 5 years ago, we became, I don't know why that went out. We became paperless when we started using HP tablets and using an application out of Denver. And then when the iPad came along, it took it to a whole new level. So we've been paperless for over 5 years now, completely paperless. The odd time our client wants paper, but that's very, very rare. And the advantage for us to be paperless is enormous in time and efficiency. And our clients, I think, end up having a way better experience because of it too as well. So it's one of those win-wins. So the first application I want to show you, it's not on your list, but just to sort of prove a point, is an application called Tourist. And it's a great application. You can kind of go all over the world and see cool things. If you want to remember what it's like to be at a certain street corner in France, you can do it. But I just want to show you, I shot this on my iPhone the other day, so it's not professional. Where are we? Where's Fortnite? There we go. So this is our office in Fort Langley. If you haven't been there before, but when we mean we can adapt this technology to be paperless, there's no filing cabinets, there's no desk drawers, there's nothing. We've built a coffee shop / art gallery where we can use this technology to really create an environment that's great for our clients. We use it for meetups and client get-togethers, and that's it. That's the office.
That is very cool.
And so this is shot on my iPhone, and you can upload these for your listings and that sort of stuff. But I just did that really quickly. But just to show you the amazing part about this technology is that's our office. That's how much we've integrated it into our business. So let's start going through the list. Number one on the list for applications is an application called Evernote. I think it's one of the most important applications out there. And so I know that the chance of this being filmed, I've hidden a lot of my files, so it's kind of bare. But you can use Evernote for any way you want. But basically Evernote is on your iPad, your iPhone, your PC at home, everywhere you have internet access, and it stores your notes and categorizes them any way you want so that they're always available. So how you want to use that is up to you. But if I take a picture of you and you have a t-shirt that says Hawaii on it, and I remembered, and I type in Hawaii, it'll search through even photos of t-shirts and pull up anything relating with that information, so it makes it searchable. But show you one of the ways that I use it. For an example, when we're doing showings of properties, my client has the iPad, and they've got the list of those things, and they've got my stylist, and they're writing notes, which then we will email them to them at the end of the showing. So I'm walking around with my iPhone, which has Evernote on it. And so just to give you an example of one of the ways we use it, is so what I do is when I'm setting up the showings, I've emailed a list of all the properties that I'm showing that day, and it just automatically goes into Evernote. So that's what I'm showing that day. So I've always have a record of that going backwards. And then as I'm going through the house, when I get to the front door, I just simply put in the address on my iPhone, click a photo of the property, and then I walk through the property with my client, standing right next to him with my iPhone. And we take audio notes of our tour. So if there's anything that particularly he wants to remember, I'll take a photo of it. If there's any comments that he wants to know, you can simply just do the audio. So I'll give you an example. It should play through.
Main floor consists of a living room with open soaring ceilings up to the second floor, a fairly tight eating area, and then a kitchen with granite countertops. Quite a few cracked tiles in the kitchen, and there's some damage on the laminate floors.
So that goes through. We go through all that, and then at the end of the time that I'm showing that property, when I get back in the car, drop them off back at home, that's emailed off to him or the client before they get home. So they have all the details of the stuff they saw that day. They've got their written notes, they've got photos, and they've got audio, and it's not adding any time to my showing. You know, I'm doing it while I'm going along. And it's good record for me too as well. So how you use Evernote, but that's accessible from anywhere. So let me show you another cool thing about Evernote. You've got an email that you want to remember. So this is an email that came in the other day, and I want to pop that into my Evernote account. I simply have, every Evernote account, you have your own particular email address. So you just take that email address and you put it into your contacts, and you just name it Evernote. So I want this to be put into my iPad folder. I can just simply forward that off, include the attachments. And then here where the subject line is, so let's send that off to Evernote. It should just pop open. There's my Evernote account. And then at the end, if I tag it, I know the name of the folder I want it to go into there. So I want it to go into the iPad folder. So I go at iPad, and then I can hashtag searchable terms too as well, so I can search it later on. And then I send that out. And that automatically is gone, and that's already filed away in that folder. So for the client, you want to remember something or you want to do anything, that's filed away. Likewise, if you're on the internet and you're looking around, so here's the meetup site for today. Let's go into this. And let's say this is a web page of information that I want to remember, I want to store for later on. You can make a bookmark up there, and it's really easy to do. It's an HTML code. A bookmark, and just click on Evernote, and on your iPad it'll automatically open up how you want to store this information. So that will come up. Oh, I gotta sign into Evernote. Probably gonna see my passwords.
No, you won't. I'm going to.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know why I had to sign it. Higher.
Well, they're down for now.
Are they down?
must be, happen to be numbered.
Let me try that again. Anyways, it's very, very cool. There we go. So it just pulls up, and I can add my tags that I want to and the text that I want to, and then I can just pick, I want that to go into that iPad folder. So it automatically goes on iPad folder, and I can just save the URL to that page, but that URL could change, just like a blog. That information could change, or I could clip the full page so that information is done. So I want to do both, and I just quickly press save those things, and it's preparing the note, and it's off. So that's done. So if we go back into Evernote, and go into my notebooks and go into my iPad notes, there they are. So there's how to use your iPad, there's that email that I just sent there, and it's done. And then all this is searchable. Every little bit of that is searchable. So it's a great way of creating all the things that you're not putting into VBC, all those things, all the contracts, all the other stuff, for your clients to sort of put away. You see something, an article, if you're creating content for blogs, you can easily just push that stuff away. I think Evernote's a really powerful tool. iPhone, iPad, Android, it's all the way around. How you use it will differ, and that's just to scratch the surface of Evernote. The next big app that we use is Dropbox. Who uses Dropbox? Amongst everyone in the room, we understand how Dropbox works. Dropbox, one of the really neat things about Dropbox is collaboration for me. So because I'm on a team of 3 of us, these folders where you're sharing that information, so David, Rochelle, and I have a Dropbox back and forth. So if I want to send him a video that I want him to sign off on, or a flyer or something like that, it just goes in there, it shows up on his computer. So Dropbox's ability to store a lot of information, Google Drive is becoming a lot more popular, and as it gets integrated into more and more applications, Google Drive will be a great application tool as well. But here's a place where you can store all your stuff. Now, I used to store all my blank contracts under blank contracts. So I would store all my contracts for the entire year. So I would take a listing presentation, an offer to purchase. I'd fill out everything that wasn't going to change, my name, on where I work, and I'd store them in there. What Web Forms is now integrated, thankfully, into iPad, so we don't have to do that anymore. So it's a great place to just having those files that you want to have access from anywhere to pop in. I put it on my iPad, it shows up on my desktop, it shows up on my iPhone, it's everywhere I want it to be. So Dropbox, if you've ever emailed yourself something, and we've all done that, that's what Dropbox does. It eliminates ever having to email yourself something ever again. We've all done that, and that was the original Dropbox, using our Google inbox, our Gmail inbox as storage. So that really brings us on to starting to getting into contracts. And so now Web Forms is completely integrated into iPad. So if you open up, and I've given yourself the link, if you put that link into the address bar, webforms.realtorlink.ca webforms, and then you click this icon right here, the arrow icon, you just add it to your home screen, and it'll make it like an application on your home screen of your iPad. So then once it's there, then you end up having this Web Forms there, touch spaces there. I can upload all my web images now, so if you are taking images, you don't have to go back to the office. And then your Sentry Lock's on there too as well. That's on my iPhone. So Web Forms now becomes an application, and yeah, you just no option, no select products.
Is there Wi-Fi?
Yes, there is. I don't know what the password is. What's the Wi-Fi password here?
Champion 1.
Champion 1.
You're going to keep it on just a little bit longer. I don't want to show all my files for the internet. I'd show everyone in the room, but just a second.
Is it the Summit one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then
you're good.
Champion 1.
Yeah.
So this is Web Forms. I've gone in just like you would. I've logged on and I've chosen a file, right? Just I want to edit a file. I've chosen a multiple listing contract. So this is on my iPad. So I can go through, I'm meeting with a client, and I thought we were just having coffee, and then you realize it's a listing presentation. You've ever been in that situation where now all of a sudden you're listing at home? On your iPad, you're tethering through, hopefully through your phone, and you're not buying a 3G or a 4G iPad. But you can simply see that it is just touched, edited, just like this. So we're gonna, Remax is the seller.
All one word.
and we're going to list the property down here. And this is the great part about, actually, I'll leave that till the end. So you go through, you're going to fill this out as best you can. Some things you might not be able to fill out yet because you haven't met with your client. Then you're just going to simply click the download icon, and you can have two options. You can lock it to make sure it's read-only, or you can make it so it's still editable. You still want editable. Editable? Edible. Edible. You still want to make it that thing, so you go ahead and press cancel because all the things aren't done. And it's going to pull up into a web browser, which then you can pop it onto your iPad. So, and that brings us really to the next application, which is PDF Expert, which is the sort of foundation as far as contracts go. That's the application we use the absolute most. Wi-Fi is hanging on us.
I think a bunch of people might have just joined.
A bunch of people's ruining for everyone else. Oh, I got 3 bars. But there we go. So now it's going to open another one, and everywhere you see on your iPad, when you have options, in the upper right-hand corner, you can choose what application you want to open in, right? So you can choose to open this document in all these different applications, and we'll go through a lot of them. But we want to open in PDF Expert. So we're going to go ahead and open that document in PDF Expert. And so now it's sucking it on, and now it's on my iPad. So now it's offline. You can get off the internet, and now you can do this. So now this document is on my iPad, and now I'm sitting with the client going through the final little details. So there you go. Still, I can still edit it. So we'll go in list price. Now it's on my iPad. I go ahead and put it on list price, and we want to go $550. And still, same thing would work. Still, the commas will go in, and then the numbers and all that sort of stuff. So you just press it, and it's done. So now I'm meeting the client. We're ready to go. Pop out the stylus pen. Go down to the bottom. Choose my pen. I want it to be black. There, it's initialed. It's done.
Wow.
Right? Now, if it's a listing contract, now I'm going to send it off. Just arrow button by email to. Now you want to flatten that copy. You don't want to make sure the other agent can move it. So we always want to flatten our PDFs on the way out from when we've done it, but when we've finished it, so it goes out as a flattened copy, and it goes right up to the email box. Now, I'm going to send this off to my email account. Okay, now here's the advantage of being paperless. We use Realty Nuance. Thankfully, Remax Little Oak used, where we came from, we used Realty Nuance. Every single time a contract leaves my hands, it's blind CC'd into Realty Nuance. Your work is done, right? So you're sitting with a client and you're doing a listing presentation. I'm going to email the client. I'm going to email Remax Little Oak Biz Listings, and I'm going to email Realty Nuance. When I'm done standing up from that table at the listing presentation, I'm done. It's already off to Remax, it's already off into Realty Nuance, and the client has a copy of it. I never have to go back to the office, and then I go back and it's all stored. So every single time I negotiate an offer, every single time it comes in, it goes into Nuance. Nuance timestamps it. Well, I know exactly when it came in, when it went out. If I ever, so through an offer, I'll have 7 as the offers go back and forth with no effort. So it always gets blind CC'd out to Realty Nuance, which is really the cornerstone still of being paperless. So I send that off. That contract goes off. So let's go look what it'd be like if someone's sending me a contract and how we'll use PDF Expert. So go into my email. Email's there. There's the form I want to do. I'm downloading some. We also use something called My Fax. So if you're not a paperless agent or not a digital agent, you send me a fax, it comes to my email. So I never have to go to my fax machine. I've got a fax number, you send it to me, it comes to my email. So now this is the contract we have, right, with $550. It's locked now. I simply touch the top corner. I say open in, PDF Export. Now it's coming back to me. And so this is, we'll say that this is an offer to purchase, right? So $550 no longer works for us. We're just going to take that pen. We're going to cross that off. This is probably a little bit crude. Take a box, put initials in there, grab a pen with my client, sign it off. Done. Email out to the other agent, into Realty Nuance or wherever it needs to go. That's how you negotiate a contract. And you want to add in, let's see where there's a form here.
Sorry, Michael, if you could stand back a little. I think the people over here can't see.
Oh, sorry, Bob. Bob's already taken the presentation. So likewise, if you're doing an offer And there's somewhere where you want to add some information to as well. Here you can take in text, right? And so you could add another subject clause, right? So that would just go in there like that. You'd add in your subject clause. You'd put your signature box in there, and the other people are going to be circles. And it gets signed, and that obviously that's crude, and that gets sent off. So you can really go through and edit that and never touch anything. Once again, once it leaves PDF Expert, it's locked, and you send a copy to Nuance. Now, I go one step further. I sign my documents in the next application called Notes by Nuance. And one of the reasons why I sign my documents in Notes by Nuance, and this is a personal thing, I'll show you when I do a signature. So that's my signature, let's say. The problem with this application is I can do this with your signature, right? I can cut and paste it. Now, I'm your agent. I'm not going to do that for you. I can manipulate that. Notes by Nuance. The moment that pen touches that screen, it can't be moved, can't be resized, can't be changed, can't be anything. PDF Expert, a lot of people use it. It's great. It's legal. Everything's fine. I take a next step. I just go open in, flatten copy. I choose Notes by Nuance. It doesn't, for whatever reason, show up through Mirror. Notes by Nuance, same program, sign off, and it's done. I just do that one extra step. It's no more time to do it. And from there, I send it off, CC a copy into Virtual Business Center, and so on and so forth. Any questions on that stuff?
Is Notes by Nuance an app?
It is an application free. And here, by the way, Evernote free, Dropbox free, PDF Expert $9.99, Notes by Nuance free. So far we're in it for $9. $10.
Notes by Nuance, why again, instead of PDF?
Just because you can't change the signature. The moment you sign the signature, that signature can't be moved. And not that I'm saying I have a higher, it makes me feel comfortable that my client knows that I didn't go and cut and paste and I moved their signature around. It's just, I mean, we have e-sign now, right? Which is an IP address. But, you know, I feel more comfortable when I know that it can't be moved. That's more of a personal issue. It's great.
Notes by Nuance is the same Paperport Notes?
Yeah, Paperport Notes, yeah. Yeah, Notes is just the company. Paperport Notes, yeah. So that brings us to VBC, which is the same thing.
Sorry, quick question.
Yeah.
The last one with Notes by Nuance. When you're moving your document into that, you're moving it into the app. You don't have to be online still.
Nope, right to the app.
Okay.
Yeah. And everyone understands tethering on their cell phone.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So the next. What?
Is that all you use is tether? You don't have any 3G or
I have nothing on. As long as I've got this phone near me, that's all I need. And that phone's. This is every contract I've done in the last 8 years is on here. Every file, every photo, video, everything we've done is here. So wherever this thing is. I have a client call me up a couple of years ago and says, "Hey Mike, I'm in refinancing. I need a site survey certificate from the deal we did 3 years ago." I pulled over the side of the road and got on Realty Nuance, which is next, and sent it to him. So Realty Nuance is next. Once again, I've created an application on my desktop by just doing that desktop thing. If those are familiar with Realty Nuance, the only thing you can't do on Realty Nuance on your iPad is fill out a deal sheet and post a document. Otherwise, you can go in there, you can go in the inbox, you can receive information. So at night when I get home, and it's 9:30 at night, and I got these 5 documents, I just quickly post them away, or I call Jordan and she posts them. That's the only downfall. They're working on it right now, but you have full access on your iPad to Realty Nuance for the things you need during the day when you're out on the road. You have all your documents, all your clients' information, everything on there, all your past stuff. Nuance is there. It's an amazing foundation for what we do. iBooks. iBooks is I use it more on my iPhone than my iPad, but they're cloud together. So when I put something in iBooks, and iBooks has two sides to it. It has your books, and then has your PDFs. So on the back part of your bookshelf is all your PDFs. I'll try to show you what I do. That's one of one. That's not a good example. One of one. Try and show you when I was out showing some stuff. So here we go. So this is back on Fred's stuff. So this is in iBooks. It's on my iPhone. I'm going to go show the house. The client says to me, "What's the square footage?" I don't have paper. I have the information here. On my phone, I can click the phone number. I can email straight from the phone. But what I do is I put at the top of it the information, with showing lockbox, railing information, all that just goes in because I've just put that in through PDF Expert. I've put it into iBooks. So my client walks around with this information where they can write notes on it, and I've got it on my iPhone. So as I get up to the front door, I just look on my iPhone. I know where the lockbox is. I know the code. If I need to call the realtor, it's there.
Why iBooks and why not PDF export? Why don't you just save it all in there? You could
Just because it clouds. Because if I make a change on one, it goes to the other. PDF expert isn't clouding. I mean, once again, I could learn 1,000 things from all of you guys from how you use it. This is just how I use it, and it's that cloud aspect of it is not having to send it more than one place. If I change something in PDF Expert on my iPad, it doesn't go to my iPhone. So using those Apple products is the advantage. So I use iBooks for that and keeping that stuff together. Next application that will be part of our Vegas presentation, and actually the guy I'm doing the Vegas presentation with is a guy from New Jersey. Awesome guy. I told him about this application. He went out and got it, and he got a listing because of it on day one. So this is an example of Notes Plus, and this is how we use it. I've got horrible handwriting, as you can see. I'm glad that's on video. But what Notes Plus is your ability to take notes, and a whole lot more than that. So I use Notes Plus for my pre-listing walkthrough. And so one of the advantages of Notes Plus is when you hold down your pen on the page, it asks you for a close-up box. So now wherever that gray box is actually where I'm going to be writing on the lower box. So I can write a lot more efficiently. Bedroom, see once again, horrible writing, is 12 by 32, that's a big one. Information as I go through. But what I really use it for is when I'm doing that pre-listing walkthrough with a client, I say to the client, hey, can you take me a walkthrough of your property and show me, everything about the property? He says, yeah, okay, there's no problem. I said, can we record our walkthrough? Yeah, sure, no problem. I just simply press the microphone button. Now that's recording our conversation as he's walking us through the property. All right. So recording we got crown moldings, and we put in the hot water tank in 1995, and we did this at this time, and all that information is done. Now I also go through, and I see something that is either going to be a hindrance to the value of the property or a plus to the value of the property. I simply insert a photo of the bad whatever. There we go on my iPad, and then that's done. I use that. And that gets popped into the note, and it's there, and I'm writing notes as I go through, and it's recording everything I'm saying. And I go ahead and press finish record, and here you go. Go back, and you can go back and see those recordings.
So microphone button. Now that's recording our conversation as he's walking us through the property.
Right.
All right.
So that's all done.
We got crown moldings, and we put in the hot water tank in 1995, and.
Okay, that's it. So I go through, and once again, now that I got that note done, I can simply send that off to Evernote into their file. I've got those photos, I've got that write-up, I've got that audio. So when I'm going back and now I'm doing the listing, and I go, okay, did it have crown molding or it didn't have crown molding? Did it have hardwood floors, and what were they, 3/4 inch? I've got the audio notes. I can go through. If I say anything, I just say, oh, you've got 3/4 inch, And the attention to detail that homeowner perceives you having, or actually having, is great. You're not going to miss a thing. So that's on there. Notes Plus is a great application, and it has a ton of value. Once again, all the things that we're doing mobile-wise, you're doing that walkthrough anyway. You're spending that 15 minutes to take a couple photos and to do the audio notes. It's no more effort. It's just like same thing with the Evernote with the showings. No extra effort. Makes you look super professional, and really pays off. Next.
So you would file this note in Evernote?
In Evernote.
Not keep it in Note Plus?
Yeah, no, get it out.
Just for taking it?
Yeah, just taking it, because I can't find it here. You know what I mean? Evernote is once it's filed away and it's done, and I know the client's name, last name, so I just simply email and write at, Finley, and it just goes into that account.
So then would you have a client file in Evernote?
Yeah, every one of my clients.
All the client stuff goes
Every clients I have, and just dump it in there, and then when I need it later on, I know where it is. I might never ever use it again, but I dump it in the client file under their last name. So when I send that email off, I just at their last name, and it's filed. I don't have to go into Evernote, file it later on, or fool around with it. That information's there, it's done. And now I go and say if I'm at my office, I don't have my iPad with me or whatever at my office, Evernote, pull it up, it's there. It's wherever I want to be.
Do you have to physically create folders in Evernote?
Yeah.
Okay.
2 seconds.
Right. Yeah.
Just add, boom, done.
Evernote's in the cloud.
Evernote's in the cloud. Yep.
This Notes Plus $7.99. Is that the right app?
It looks like.
Yeah,
looks like
that's
that.
it.
Ooh. Like that. Is it $7.99?
Yeah.
I think I got it for like $1.99 when it first got released.
So much promotion.
See, that wave is coming. It's starting to get more expensive.
And you can't do that just right in Evernote? You can't do
No, you can't. You can't. You can do Evernote. You can do the audio recording. You can do the photos, but you can't do the handwritten notes.
Okay.
You could type that out, but I have horrible handwriting. But at least I can write one-handed a lot better than you're walking around and typing. It just seems to me too burdened. But you could do it in Evernote. You could do it in Evernote.
Do you email your audio to your client, say this is what we talked about when we went through? Or
Yeah, you could. It's not really super professional. They know that you've recorded. By just saying, hey, can we record this conversation, that's probably set that, no realtor they've ever dealt with has ever done that. Ever done that. And so this is the advantage of things like how we use pitch and other things. The separation is enormous right now because I'll sit in this room and I'll tell you all what we do, and 3 of you are going to do it. And that separation still exists for me. There's not a concern. I think a lot of people aren't going to do it. I think you have to do it, but I think a lot of people aren't going to do it. But yeah, you could share that information with them. You can go back and say, remember when we talked about this or that? Those records, that's their voice. So we do it too in our buyer consultation. To find out really what's important to them, we really record that. So, we also take notes, but it just proves that you are listening to everything that they have to say. Now, do you go back and review it? You may or may not.
Are those audio files editable?
No. Well, you guess you could put them in an MP3 player and cut them down. Yeah, they're filmed in QuickTime. What's the Apple version of audio?
MP4.
Yeah, whatever.
And
anyway, yeah, you could do it.
When you walk through with your Evernotes, you're taking still pictures.
Yeah.
Can you do it with video as well?
You could. Yeah.
Is there a video to text option or voice to text?
Yeah, we'll get into dragon dictation. Okay. The problem is you've got to leave that, but dragon dictation could do that too as well, and we'll get into that later on. That will be one of our. There's a lot more apps that we're going to get through if we can get through these quick enough. But I definitely didn't want to put too much on, but we're making good time. We're only 35 minutes in. So, next application is Keynote. Keynote is your PowerPoint presentation. It's how we do our listing presentations. So this is Keynote. And if anyone's been to my Facebook presentation, you'll know that's basically what we've done.
Oop, it disappeared.
It'll come back.
Okay.
It'll come back. There we go. There we go. So this is what happens when we're doing our listing presentation. That iPad is like that in front of my clients on the other side of the table. I'm on this side of the table controlling the presentation with my iPhone using an application called Keynote Remote. And so from my screen, I can see the slide that it's on and the next slide that we're going to, and I can control that conversation. So we all talk about scripts in real estate. I really believe that your listing presentation, we all know this, is a script more for us to stay on topic and to move through and answer the questions than it is for our client. But this gets to sit right in front of their client. We get to go through with it. And the beauty of it doing on the iPad is if you're talking about your virtual 360s or some of your marketing, you bounce out of your keynote presentation and you show them. Like to say, we do these great videos, in a keynote slide, go show them your great videos. Go show them your website. Go show them some of the cool things you're doing because you have internet access. Now, if the group gets bigger than a couple people, we have a laser projector about the size of this iPhone that hooks right up to the iPad and will project up to a 60-inch screen on the wall. It's $99. It's this big. So if we're sitting around and it's an investment group or something or a small little thing, we just put that on the table, put the other iPhone underneath, and it shoots up, and it's a really great, nifty thing to do.
Which projector do you use?
It's called, it starts with a P. Pixie or something, or Pico. Yeah, Pico. It's great. You can get a bunch of them, but to have that hooked up to do the presentation in Keynote, Keynote is so easy. You can import your PowerPoint presentations. Sometimes the font isn't perfect and you can go clean them up, but to do a PowerPoint presentation or a Keynote presentation and edit it and get it ready takes no effort whatsoever. It's a great way. You can email them off. You can turn them into PDFs if you want to turn that into a pre-listing package or a post-listing presentation package, whatever you want. That can go off too as well.
Do you have to be connected to wireless to run the remote with the
Bluetooth? Just Bluetooth.
All right.
Yeah,
I used an Apple app, but you had to be connected to a wireless to do the.
Yeah, no, just Bluetooth between your iPad, your iPhone, and it just controls it. And it's nice because you can see the slide you're talking about and the next slide. So as you're getting onto the next topic, you're running through it, and you can control the presentation that way. So you never have to see your iPad, and they know what you're talking about, and it's pretty cool. So that's Keynote. Next application is Cloud On. Cloud On and Smart Office. These two, I think Cloud On is still free. I'll find out now that all this stuff is $9.99. Smart Office, I believe, is $10. Although one of the other applications, Zeit, which is next, I'll show you how to find a bunch of awesome free apps all the time. But Smart Office every month and a half will show up free for 24 hours. But what Cloud On and Smart Office are for PC users out there that still want to have their PC and want to have their iPad. There is rumblings that Microsoft is going to bring out Office for iPad sometime this year. But right now, Cloud On and Smart Office allow you to look at your Excel documents, edit them, Word documents, PowerPoint documents. All your Microsoft documents can be edited in here and then sent back on your computer and then worked on. So if you are still using Microsoft documents, which is fine, those two applications, very, very easy to use, very simple, but it just lets you access those other documents without them turning into... See, the thing is, Apple will gladly accept Word documents and PowerPoint documents, but it doesn't go the other way. So if you bring something into Pages and work on it and then send it back to Word, it's not going to work. So the fact that you can get them on your iPad and keep them in the Word document has an advantage.
So it comes back like it's Word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it actually never changes format. They've made it so that it's edited in that code.
Usually comes back.
All goobly goop. Yeah, that's Smart Office and Cloud On are good for that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So Zeit is the next application that I find tons of value. Zeit is part of my coffee routine in the morning. They've changed the icon. It's now this very Hootsuite looking owl. But what Zeit is it's an online magazine that I use to curate some of the information that I want to know and content. But it's your stories. So here on the side are all the topics that I want to follow. So iPad or Facebook or technology or social media or real estate or business or entrepreneurship. So let's go into iPad, and it's going to pull stories that it thinks that I'm interested in. And if I want to find out a really cool new iPad app that's coming out, it takes 3 minutes a day. I read through it, look through it just like that, look at these documents, what I want to do, and then I can find out when Smart Office is free. Or there's this new video editing app that's coming called Touch Edit. It's not being approved by Apple yet, but from the reviews that I've seen here, it's going to be awesome, and it'll probably be initially offered free for the first couple days. So little things like that will keep you on top of. But when you're done reading the article, if you press up, it'll give it a thumbs up, or if you press down, it'll give it a thumbs down. Now this is just for you. When you read an article and you give it a thumbs up, Zeit will continue to go out there and figure out this is the stuff they want to read and this is the stuff you don't want to read. 3 months ago, I liked about 50% of the articles on Zeit. Now it's like 85% of the content is relevant to me. So it starts to learn who you are and goes out and gets that information and keeps it really relevant. So as you go through and you see value in a certain article, it does that. If you go into real estate now, you can't choose Canadian real estate, but some of the articles are pretty interesting. Go through, but that's a great way of curating some neat content, seeing what other agents are doing, and staying on your topic. So no matter what you're interested in, you can just quickly put in the topic, and it will find that information based on that stuff. So it's a great place to curate content.
How do you prefer that over Flipboard?
Flipboard's next. Yeah, it's a little bit different. Yeah, Flipboard. I use Flipboard a lot more to get through my Twitter feed and my Facebook feed as far as getting other stuff done. So this is Flipboard. It's pretty popular. I used it a lot until I came into Zeit. I like Zeit because it gets to know who you are and it gets pretty specific. But I'll go through my Twitter feed on Zeit. So this is my Twitter feed on Zeit, and you can go through Twitter on your Twitter feed. But when you're sitting down and you're having a cup of coffee in the morning, it's pretty interesting because if we can get to a video, so this is my Twitter feed. Let's find out if there's anything. There's usually a lot of stuff from Ray. That Facebook announcement yesterday was horrible. Anyway, if you go through this stuff, you can see this stuff right inside the application. So you're not leaving the application to go read the story. You're actually reading that story right in here. Here's a video to give you an example. So instead of going and Hootsuite sending you somewhere else, you get to watch that video right inside the application. So I really like this ability. There's some stuff in there. So it really gets through Twitter feed. I can go back through my Facebook feed, but if other people are using it, it's much like Zeit. You can tell what you're interested in. You can sort of go out and get your RSS feeds and jam them in there, and it's a pretty useful tool as far as getting through your content. Pages. Pages is Word. It's really amazing on the iPad. It's amazing on the Mac, but it's amazing on the iPad. And one of the reasons why it's so great is because you're not dealing with a keyboard. It's really intuitive. So whatever you think you should be able to do, so if I want to take that image and I want to move it down here, I don't know, that's see-through text. I don't know why that's that way. Let's find a smaller photo. So if I take that thing, see how the text automatically, no matter what I do, it's going to make it look good. And then you can take it and you want to rotate that, the text jumps in. So you can put in a little template for your flyers, for your whatever you want to email off. And it's as easy as what it appears to be as far as the way it outlines it. And when you get underneath another photo, it will tell you if you're square on it and if balanced and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know what it originally looked like, something like that. But to make that image, to type in there, to make that image bigger or change the size of it, whatever I want to do, it's pretty amazing. So Pages is one of those real great ways where you can get a document out and get it sent off. If you're doing any reports for foreclosures and you need photos and stuff sent off, and then you can export that out, you know, as a PDF or however you want to share it. You can open it somewhere else. It's a great application. Wow, we're flying along. Google Earth. Google Earth is an amazing real estate application, and we find a ton of value in it all the time. And one of the things that's so great about that is it's in your hand all the time. You're showing a property. I think it's going to zoom into Fort Langley because that's the last place I looked. So I'm out showing a house in Fort Langley, and you want to know where the parks are or proximity to schools or so on and so forth. To stand in the driveway and have this information because your cell phone's in your pocket, to be able to tell your client, you know, this is the high school and this is the elementary school and here's the, your knowledge is amazing. But one of the other great tools about that, and you can zoom right in on the address, there's our amazing office right there. There's our office. One of the great things about the iPad that I use all the time is the ability to take and capture your screen. If you press the home button and the top button at the exact same time, it takes a photo of that screen. So now that photo is now in my photo library, and we'll show you how that how I utilize that later on in a couple more applications. But just remember, that's the photo I just took of Google Earth right now, and you can zoom right in on another. Let's go right into a piece of property here. And for example, we'll use this as an example. We can just rotate that up. Right. So we'll use this as an example. So that's the house we're dealing with, and we'll take a photo of that, and that's done. So the next application obviously is Google Maps. Google Maps is in a bit of a quandary right now. They've released their iPhone app in the iOS 6 update. Apple and Google are at each other's throats. They got rid of, this is horrible. This is good on your iPhone. The quality of the photos aren't great. Once again, this is Google Maps that I've created an application from their mobile website. Google Maps for iPad should be released shortly, so I'll show you what it's like on Google Maps on their website. So once again, it's just going to their website. I've created a short key for it. But let's go in, and I popped this in last night so that I wouldn't have to type it up too much. What's the address here? It's not coming up.
34314.
314?
34314 Marshall Road.
I'm dyslexic. What?
34314.
Yeah, Marshall. There you go. So, so there you are. But the way I use this when I need to in a crunch time is the street view icon. So touch the little man down there, and we'll be right here at McGavin's Bread. So we're right here right now. There's Bob sitting in the corner. So if I need a photo for a CMA and there's no photos never been listed before, and I don't have time to go and get a photo of that property, there you go. Boom, I've got a photo, I take that in, I put that in there. Now this is Google, and you're not supposed to take the photo of that, but that's, so there you go. So you can crop that down.
That's okay, I didn't record it.
That wasn't recording, right? My name is. So that's a neat little thing to do that, and also, to go back and take a look. And now, what I really do like now is Google has been now adding the date of the image. So when you're listing something and you're trying to figure out what the odds are that that balcony is still that or whatever, or the tree's still there, we know that this was an August 2001 photo, and that constantly gets updated. But that screenshot is one of the really cool ways. That brings us to our next application, which is Skitch. Skitch is owned by Evernote. They bought them out about 1.5 years ago. But Skitch is an amazingly powerful tool in order to communicate what you're trying to say in a visual term. So let me show you how Skitch is for your iPhone now, but I really do like it more for the iPad. So let's take that photo that we took there in Fort Langley, and this is a property I'm curious about, right? So here we go, and I want to tell my clients or the other realtor, you're selling something in Brookswood or it's on a septic field. I want to illustrate roughly where the septic field is, so I'm going to choose, there's the septic field there, right? And I want to say that, this is, let's point out the well. So that's where the well is. So. There we go. So that's ability to take an application and then have that done, and that's going to take it off to Evernote, and then I'm just going to simply share that with the realtor, email that out, put it in the camera roll. But it's a way of taking a photo and really doing it up. I can also discard that. So I'm talking about my clients. My client said, Michael, I really like that house we saw in Fort Langley, but can you tell me where the high school is in comparison to the house? So I can just simply go, all right, there's the house, and there's the high school, and there's the elementary school, and I can tag all that out there and get that information out. So Skitch is an amazingly great application for doing stuff. Likewise, if you get a proof on a business card and you want to say, can you make this bigger? You just pull that in there. Can you make this bigger? It's a nice way of editing stuff on the road, and it goes in. Saves it as a photo, which obviously you can convert to a PDF, and so on and so forth. So Skitch, I use it a ton. At first I thought, we won't use it, but it's amazing when you're going through, you're doing a deficiency list, or you're doing an inspection, and someone says, I don't know where you're talking about this crack in the foundation, so we can take a photo and have an arrow drive right to it. Really drives the point home. So it's a tool we use all the time. It's pretty cool. Hootsuite, for all you Twitterers out there. Anyone listen to the ramblings of Gary Vaynerchuk? Gary Vaynerchuk, good. He rambles all the time. But he says the most powerful website in the world is search.twitter.com. And your ability to engage clients and customers through search.twitter.com. So your ability to go out and search for keywords. Well, if search.twitter.com is the most powerful website in the world, in his opinion, then Hootsuite must be the most powerful tool in the world. Because you're able to set up searches. Now, if anyone's on Twitter and sort of goes, I don't understand it, I was in an amazing presentation the other day from Kat Stern. She's amazing. I asked her, maybe she can come in and talk to you guys. It's great. But there's so much value in Twitter, but the value isn't in necessarily the people that you follow or follow you. It's those conversations where they're talking about your brand. If I was selling Toyota cars and I heard someone tweet saying, thinking about buying a Toyota, and I knew that tweet was 13 kilometers away from where my dealership was, I might say something over Twitter, hey, well, that's a great idea, they're great cars, or something like that. So you can see here that if anyone talks about Walnut Grove within 2.6 kilometers, I hear it, right? Or whatever it is. So if someone says the word North Langley or Realtor, or thinking of moving, or any of those keywords, so these are people that are not necessarily following, but these are searches of information. So when it comes up, like when Tyler does his Tyler real estate thing, if it says Langley, it always shows up in my Langley feed, right? So, you know, it's always there, and I can hear people talking about Langley. Just going back a little bit. This morning I haven't gone through. But see, these are all stuff that are talking about Langley, or thinking about moving, or Realtor, or for sale. Whatever searches you want to search, if you do a little niche little neighborhood, you don't know that those people are on Twitter, but once they start talking about something you're interested in, Hootsuite is a super powerful tool. I know there's a lot of people out there that love TweetDeck. I think you sign up for Twitter, you never go back to twitter.com in your lifetime, you get on Hootsuite. And then I say about Hootsuite, you can have multiple accounts. So here's our real estate account, and here's our community account. And we're going to be adding, looks like our thing in Vegas is going to turn into a weekly web show. We'll have to get a new Twitter feed for that, and I can add that in there instead of going from application to application. So the Hootsuite's amazing. If you're on Twitter, you need to be on Hootsuite. Any questions about Hootsuite?
So those keyword searches you're talking about were set up in Hootsuite?
Yeah, set up in Hootsuite. Now, to geotag, you have to be on your computer, because I think it's an IP address thing.
Oh.
Once it sets up, it migrates to your iPad. But search terms, you can, if you want to know about, like, if you want model trains from 1965, if that's what you're interested in, you can find antique model trains. And every single time someone says antique model train, you hear that conversation. But the proximity of the conversation for what we do is so important. Someone tweeting about real estate in Labrador has no value. Someone down the street has tons of value. If it's a fellow realtor, it has value because you want to know what they're doing marketing-wise. And if it's a client, it has tons of value, just knowing about your topic. So being able to search people that you don't know to follow yet, and then obviously you follow them. In your Twitter feed, you have your website. You say something of value, they're going to find out who you are, build a relationship. Don't go in there and try to close them right away, but go and start to build the context, and it's amazing.
So when you're setting up your search words, do you have to do like 6 search words to capture, or you just like you've got?
Yeah, I think you can do it. And then, here, let's add a new feed. So I can add a new feed. Now I can't do proximity searches, so I can say mentions, send tweets, retweets, keyword. So keyword. So I think your maximum 3 per column. You can add more and more columns. So in this column, I might if you're interested in, you know, Langley Minor Hockey or whatever it is, you could say, you know, Langley Minor Hockey or whatever it was. So when those come up, you would find those conversations or whatever you're interested in, or your neighborhoods, or Willoughby, or Walnut Grove.
You have to do Langley Minor Hockey, LMH.
Yeah, all those different ones. Yeah, depending on what people are talking about. And then once you get the sense of what people are talking about, your keywords might change over time because you realize a lot of them are talking in a different manner. But having the ability to search what people are talking about and then join those conversations because you have expertise in those, and don't join those conversations and bully people like, oh, I know. Just add value to it, and it's amazing how quickly they follow you back, and then you're having a conversation, then you're having a cup of coffee, and then your real estate signs in their front lawn. So that's really a ton of value. Hootsuite's an amazingly powerful tool, and it's awesome on the iPad. And they're a great Vancouver company, and they're amazing.
Beautiful.
Any questions? We'll take any questions on that? We'll take a 5-minute break. Thank you. Next app that's increasingly getting better and better, and I think it's a really integral part of what we do is, you know, your social media ability to curate content, create content, and all the content. If you've ever seen our white screen videos that we do or something like that, that's all done on the iPhone and the iPad. I mean, we don't, all of our photos, all of our videos done here, but Facebook continues to get better and better. But Pages there is to manage your business page. So it still has some limitations. I guess I should just start rating these things so it stops asking me. So you have the ability to manage your business page. There are limitations. You still can't upload video through the Pages application, and you can't see your news feed, which has a ton of value too as well. So that's the limitation. You also can't tag people that you want to mention and their business and whatnot. And Safari, when you go to your Facebook business page on Safari, you still have the ability to. Let's go. You still have the ability through this application to do almost everything you want. You can post, you can do stuff. And you can tag. You can't upload the photo because that photo's going to the old hard drive on your computer looking for stuff. But you can cut and paste links and do all that sort of stuff through Safari. And then through the Pages application, you can do most other stuff. Facebook will continue to get more mobile. Super powerful tool. Lots of business starting to come in the recent months here through Facebook, and it's something that we should all have, a Facebook business page. So the page manager is great for that. Next application that is an iPhone application, but obviously works on your iPad, is Canadian Mortgage. I don't know if this will change yet. Well, this is a really wow. So you can really go through everything here. So if you go down to your loan section here, you can. I've got a $299 fixed rate on a 25-year amortization fee. And then land transfer, here's the great thing about it. They finally fixed this since the last time we talked. It used to always revert automatically back to Ontario, but now it keeps on BC. So it has your property, your PPT, as far as first time tax on or off. You can do that. So if it's a first time buyer, obviously I've got a purchase price in here of 2 eyes. So let's go ahead and change that purchase price. We'll get it under 425. Let's go 375. That goes. So now if we go into our land transfer tax, see it says non-lucky you. Do it that way, it's $5,500. So it goes through there, and obviously it's not replacing going to a mortgage broker and getting a real pre-approval. But when you're sitting down, it puts in your utility cost. It approximates the tax. You can change that. Your deposit 5% down is $1,875, and it really is a great application that's designed for Canadians to sort of really quickly, when you're having that initial consultation, that question comes up, to just pull out your iPad and do that. Now, it doesn't have the ability to export this out, but you can definitely take a screenshot of it, email it off, turn it into a PDF, and send it off to your client if they sort of want to have a snapshot of value.
Is there a line item for strata fees?
There's not, but I think you can add. It's a really good question. I don't know if under utilities you could. Yeah, I guess you could just up it by the 225. So let's add that to. You could go 825 will be the total close. So you could do it that way, and that manipulates it. So this is the home value of it, but your mortgage portion of it is the 1684. Gives you the total amount of what your costs are a month. It's a great conversation. Obviously, from there they got to get it out to a mortgage broker, but it's a really great application. There's some great mortgage calculators out there, but the fact that it puts in your property transfer tax and first home buyer and all that sort of stuff, it's really awesome to
It's called
use.
Canadian Mortgage.
It's called Canadian Mortgage. There's the icon, all the icons that I've got you guys, just so you can see it. But it's great. Genius Scan. I use Genius Scan a lot. There's also Turbo Scan. Genius Scan has some a really great value. So if a couple things happen. So let's say let's fold something like this in here. So the only time our team really has paper is when we get ourselves a deposit check. That's the only time that we really sort of deal with paper. The thing about Genius Scan, you can go in there, and there's a lot of them. Turbo Scan, they all do the exact same thing. I use Genius Scan at the beginning. I tend to like it. But all you have to do is focus on what you want to scan, take a snapshot of it, put the quarters in there so you can see. Oh, actually, I didn't get it all down there. I'll retake. Sorry about that. So focus in, take the photo, and then just put the corners where you need to have them. Oh, I'm standing in front of you guys, sorry. Put those corners where you need to be. Now here's what the really cool thing about it is. That's clearly on an angle. It's not proper, but I want to use that, and it flattens it right up. I can go no enhancement, and there's the deposit check. It cuts it out, and it's done. From there, I can export that out as a PDF or a JPEG into VBC off to the other agent. Direct deposit that check, and I'm done. Once again, I'm paperless again. The moment I get paper in my hand, I freak out, I put it online, and I get rid of it. So that's a really nice thing. The other thing it's really great for is the super annoying issue when realtors send you contracts in JPEG form, right? It's so annoying. So all you do is you go in here to choose your photo. You go down to my iPad for realtors. So here is a JPEG. That is a photo. Pull that up there, it automatically sizes it for me. I've got that. This is an amendment to the listing contract. I say go ahead and use that. I say no enhancements or black and white when I want, and then email that back to the agent, and it's done. So that's great. The other thing you can do in PDF Expert 2 as well is when you ever have a piece of paper up and then sideways and up, then upside down. In PDF Export, you can just quickly put them all the right way. But this is it's so annoying. The old practice was go to the office for us, go to the office, print it out, scan it back in when it was a JPEG, which was annoying. So Genius Scan and Turbo Scan will all pull in JPEGs, convert it to PDFs, and then you're back in business. And you can do multiple too as well. So I can save that and add more pages to it so they're not one-off, so I can have a document. So anytime you want to scan something real quick and prove that you've got something signed in, if you do get a piece of paper and you want to just get it off to the agent, say we remove subjects, it's crude, but it will send that off to the agent, done, remove subjects, and you can go back to the office and scan it in when you have to.
Sorry, you said JPEG to Genius Scan.
Yeah.
And then
you can send it out as a PDF.
Into Expert?
Yeah, or whatever you want to do, Nuance, or whatever it is.
Can you get it back in Expert for signatures?
Yeah, then so all you want to do is go to the documents. Let's do that again. So let's go in here. Open it up in, there's the photo. I'm going to use that. I'm going to no enhancement. I'm going to click the arrow key on the back of it. I'm going to open in other applications. Any actual size, PDF Expert. There you go, signature. Done. So that's when you get that in.
Yeah, you can't do this changes in the scan. You have to get into Expert.
Yeah, all the scan is really doing is getting it from that JPEG form into a PDF form. Because you can't send PDFs, or you can't send JPEGs into Nuance and all that sort of stuff, and I'm really bullish on Nuance, but you can't do that. So it happens all the time with less techie clients, for sure, when they send you the JPEG, and it's just easier to go, instead of saying, hey, can you go back and rescan that in and send it to me, then just to pop it into Genius Scan and change it. What do we got next? Oh, Fusion. So the big changes that have happened in our industry in the last, for being paperless, is web forms and whatnot. Fusion is up for the iPad. It's called Fusion Experience. It's this icon right here, and it's the full desktop version. And what it does is it streams it through an application that converts the flash of it, or I don't know how. It lags a little bit. You're going to have to cover the screen again there, I think. Thank you. I think we're good. So there we go. This is Fusion, and it's the exact same application you have on your desktop, and it's running through the iPad. So we can do a search for available properties in the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board, in Langley, in Fort Langley. There we go, we got 22 matches. Go ahead and look at the details. Sorry, Bob, I'm still in front of you. So there's a property I want to take a look at. Photos, everything, and it's the full thing on the iPad. It's everything you do. You can send off the touch base, you can pull up, you know, if once again, you're there and you're trying to find a way to do an offer, and you need to find, well, that one, I don't know why that one doesn't have tax details. Really? I think you could have them in that tax details. But so that's full. There's CMA. Obviously, it runs a little slower, a little clunky. But when you're out on the road in your coffee shop and someone sends you an MLS number and you want to touch base and get that done, but there you go. It's all there. You can pop it into web forms there. I don't know if that actually works yet, but you can touch base that out and get it off. So Fusion on the road, have full MLS access now. It works on your iPhone, although it's really small, but it's a great application to use, obviously.
Can you export those sheets onto another?
Yeah, you can email it out, you can PDF it out, you can get into iBooks from there, it can go from everywhere you want it to do. So it's into to Evernote, wherever you want it to go. The other last little thing before we get into some of the fun applications that aren't on the list is Chuck Magnus in our office, who's a really awesome guy. I was running late, and I said, oh, I haven't updated my my lockbox key yet. And if you put that address that's in there under SentryLock into your iPhone, you can update your SentryLock card through your iPhone at any lockbox. So, you know, so if you're ever running late, you can just jam it in there, you just press it, it gives you your update code, you don't have to call in, you update your card, and so now once every 10 times you've got to update your card, but for a week and a half you don't have to go back to the office and update your card. So it's just a Sentry Lock. You put in your key, it gives you your update code. It's kind of nice.
Sorry, is that an app? A Sentry Lock app?
Well, no. It's once again, it's going to the mobile website and you're creating an application on your.
How do you initiate that?
It's just a shortcut.
Oh, a shortcut.
Yeah, you just make a shortcut
webpage.
and you're on your iPhone. You're standing at a lockbox key. You're not updated. It's saving you from going back to the office once again.
One of your 10 call-ins.
One of your 10 call-ins, yeah. So you're on,
whatever it is.
yeah. So you just once a week when you're at home that night, you remember. But if you ever someone calls you, you go, oh, I haven't updated it. You're not running around, just doing it from your iPhone. So it's it keeps you mobile, right? Like for me, it's making monies on the road. One of the things that we're going to see now, we're going to get into some fun stuff, and no matter how much time we have, we'll see some of the cutting sort of great things that we can now use it to do, sort of wow stuff. But one of the things I showed last time in this presentation was augmented reality, and I'm trying to see. Last time, for whatever reason, the Remax augmented reality app didn't work. Do I even have it on? Did I take it out?
We should organize that, Destin.
I should. I ditched Remax. Oh, there he is. So this is the cool augmented reality application. We show our clients some of this sometimes. You know, when now it didn't work last time on, and it's not working again. I don't know if it's just
the area we're in.
Slow down and let it focus.
I don't think so.
Just, and if you point to the window.
Anyway.
Yeah.
The signs show up in there, it pulls up the Remax stuff. The Remax signage looks different. It always works on Mac. It's a really cool application. We're going to see more and more augmented reality going forward, but the fact that Remax has, this is how you have to calibrate it. Radius 500 meters. That maybe has something to do with it. Anyway, it's awesome. But here's where we're going. This is give you an idea of probably where we're going next. We're going to see new construction change in the way they interact. This is a piece of paper. And it's an application that NASA released when Curiosity was landing on Mars that my kids just couldn't get enough of, and to be quite honest, neither could I. So this is a piece of paper, a flat piece of paper. This is what will be in show homes that shows the whole unit and the floor plans. Instead of those things on the wall, there'll be little floor plans of drawings like this. And what happens when you take a device and you point it at that drawing is unbelievable. And you'll be able to have this three-dimensional look from, I mean, there's some really cool applications. You can see how
kind of like a QR code.
Yeah, but it's really, I mean, to be able to go around and see it, and you can make things happen with it. You can make the arm come out and move around, and you can get right in and see it. But this is where we're going to go with, I mean, you can imagine a floor plan on the wall where it's down on the floor and you pop up and the couches come up and the fridge comes up and you can actually get in and take a look at that. I mean, it's 360 as long as it's in there. Right, I was calculating it. It's a pretty cool way, and this is where we're going with some of this technology. And I think there's huge opportunities in real estate where you want to physically be in these places and get an idea of size and dimension. There's an application called Layer, and if you ever see an ad in the newspaper or a magazine that has the Layer icon on the back of it, you point your smartphone at it and something's going to happen. The car's going to explode or something's going to happen. It's pretty cool. They're a Dutch company, and they're doing some really cool stuff with marketing. And that's where some of this is going. And I wanted to just quickly take you back to Tourist. Tourist, you can upload your own tours, and that tour that I showed you of Fort Langley was shot on my cell phone. But you can also obviously get them done pretty professional. But this is the next wave and where we're going to go with these virtual tours. Tourist is a company out of Silicon Valley. I'm trying to find one that's really, really cool. But the next thing that Tourist is going to do is when you move forward with your iPad or your iPhone, it's going to zoom. And you're going to be able to walk around a lobby or a living room. And so if I was sitting there and there's a fireplace there, if I walked forward, I would move with my iPad. And your ability to see a room in this sort of 360 that doesn't have a whole lot of technical to get done, Like I said, I filmed that one crudely with my iPhone in about a minute and a half. But the ability now to walk around, and you can, right now, you can upload your tours to Tourist, and you can have multiple. So you can have one address and have multiple tours on that same thing. No one else is using this application right now. It's much like the Remax YouTube channel, which just blows my mind that people don't put their stuff on it. This is where the future. This is not. I don't understand the size and the like. This is amazing, and you'll be able to go there, and that door is going to say. That door's going to say bedroom, and you're going to click on it, and you're going to be taken into that room, and you will look around, and this is where we're going. And once again, cost. This cost will come down to a point where having something like this will be the same cost as a 360 tour right now. To do a 360 photo like this of globe is 4 photos. Right now, the guy taking your 360 photos is taking like 10 to do a pan. These are 4 photos, so the amount of work to be done isn't that much. And once again, I shot that one in Fort Langley on my iPhone, which is free and uploaded. Tourist is a pretty cool application that we're going to see a lot more stuff go to. And it might not be Tourist, but it'll be stuff like that. Next application I want to show you is something called I'm going to step over here, Bob, for you. Everyone, I'll do it over here for a second. This next application is called Magic Plan. And Magic Plan is a really cool way to do a floor plan of your property. So this is, if you haven't been, this is our Fort Langley office. That's the dimensions of it. Front door, we have a little balcony. This is the open space. There's a little conference room in the back. We even have the closets in there. This is our computer area, our bathroom. This is where our photocopier is. This is exactly the way it looks like, and it calculates square footage. Now, we don't use the square footage, obviously, because I can't, I don't want to use that. I obviously go through and measure it. But it's a really great way to do a quick floor plan of your property. So I'll show you how this works. It uses your iPhone. So let's call this next room, we're going to add a meeting room. And now I can't really see the corners in here too much, but basically what you're going to do is you're going to take your iPad, and you're just going to point them to wherever there's a corner. It's going to drop a little cone. That's a door. I'm going to drop a door there, and that door goes over there, and then the wall goes, let's just say that that's the wall down there. There's a wall, and there's a door.
That is crazy.
It's actually going to be a horrible looking room, but let's try to make it square, and then that's the wall over there. And there's the other corner. And let's see if we can go all the way back to door. Oh, undo. That's a door. Drop the cone.
B.
Drop. Thank you. And that's the door there. And that's the cone starter there. So you just drop it in right there. And then there's our room with the doors in there, where I was standing in relation to the room, right? That's exactly where I was standing. So then I can say, yeah, that's the application I want. And then I can make that go around anywhere I want. I can turn that to make it match up. And when they match up to a point where it is bang on. So if you quickly want to do a floor plan of someone, the house was built in 1978. Now, some of these really cool houses that have all these little curved walls can't do that. But to do a quick little apartment layout, to add that into your marketing, to put that out there, once again, there's value in it for the sale of the home, but impressing your client, there's enormous value in it. So that's one of the little ways you can do it. To download that now as a PDF or a JPEG, I think you pay $1.99 for floor plan or something like that. It could be as many stories as you want. It really walks you through it. And you can change the doors too as well, obviously. You can add furniture and everything you want. But if that door here was a bifold door, instead of it's a bifold door now. If it was a double hinge door, it's a double hinge door, and you can go through and add windows and furniture and toilets and closets and all that sort of stuff. So the first time you shoot a room, it'll take you a few minutes, and then eventually you can do rooms in like 30 seconds, and it goes through. Once again, I wouldn't rely on the square footage and the measurements. You can calibrate your iPad, but it just as far as a visual layout for marketing, it has value.
Have you ever compared the measurements it
They're
came
pretty
up with
close.
to the real?
Yeah, they're pretty close. They're within inches, but
you can also go back into it.
You can change them.
If you verify your measurements, manually, you can go back.
Yeah, you can go back right here and change it, right? You can go ahead and change it.
To make it
it's a lot of work. We use it for more of a visual in marketing than actual calculation of square footage.
What's the name of that one again?
Magic Plan. Sorry, that's that? Yeah. What's that? What's that name of it? Oh yeah, Magic Plan.
One word or two?
I'll show you the icon on there.
MAGICPLAN.
Yeah, it's one word.
Yeah, right here. This little icon right here.
Yeah.
Where do we go next? Dragon dictation. The question earlier on was audio. Dragon dictation for a guy who's super dyslexic, who hates to write, who wants to put stuff down on paper and then edit it later on. Dragon dictation is a ridiculous application. So if you are talking about, if you're a better speaker than you are a writer when you think quick, to just tap Dragon dictation and say, I love working for Remax. Dragon dictation and say, I love working for Remax. It's done. You can add periods and commas by saying it, but it's really, really accurate. You might have to go back and clean up the odd word, and then from there, I could send that out as a text message if I wanted to. I could pull that out and tell it what to do, but it's a really great, accurate application for getting thought down real quick, or to composing stuff where you're going to give a presentation, to get the body of something, to go back and clean it up. That's the way my mind works. I work very much orally first and then written second, opposed to the other way around. So Dragon dictation is a really cool application to sort of get thoughts down real quick, and from there you can copy and paste that, put it in pages, or move it around, or whatever you want to do.
Compared to Siri?
Yeah, Open Home Pro. Here's a real estate application that's phenomenal. Open Home Pro, we don't do open houses on our team, but we do it for the very first weekend that a property is on the market. What we do is when we go in there and we're shooting our video and we're doing our photos, we hold an open house. We're there anyway. We've asked the client to clean it up real quick. So what we've done here is this is the property we had down in White Rock. I quickly ran around and took 5 or 6 photos with my iPad. They loaded them up. It has your square footage and whatnot. We just cut and paste the write-up from our Evernote when we do the write-up of it. Cut and paste it in there, and then we're there. We're ready to go. So I can begin my open home. Start my open home, there we go, and then basically this is sitting on the kitchen counter, and when someone comes in, we hand them the iPad, right, and we ask them to sign in. So they sign in, they touch the iPad, name, email address, are you working with an agent, you can add any question you want, how did you hear about our listing, you can change the questions, any feedback for the seller, whatever the questions you want to have. These are the standard questions, we add to them. And it's in there. And the numbers at Open Home Pro, they say the accuracy of information that they get compared to if we have it right down is substantially higher, like really, really high. A lot of people, we hand it to 85-year-olds who go, oh, this is cool. And they put in their name and their email address, and they send it back to you. The moment they hand it back to you, it emails them a feature sheet. Thanks for visiting the open house. If you have any questions, it's done. It's sent to them, and then you can go back, you can get a list of all the people that viewed it. If you change the price and go into Open Home Pro and change the price, it'll send them, hey, by the way, you know that open house you visited on this day, we've changed the price. If you have any questions, let us know. Pass it on. Done. Done, done, done. Once again, your ability to maximize your efficiency with doing very little is amazing. So Open Home Pro, we used it when we had our wine and cheese at our Fort Langley office. We handed it around, people come in. There's applications for it, but the ability to send in information, and when it emails it off, it's good looking. Like, it's got the photos, it's got a map, it's pretty slick, and it's improved all the time. Version 2 came out about 3 or 4 months ago, and they're a real cool company doing some really neat stuff. So it's a great application specifically for what we do. Any specific interest that you guys have? I mean, we do all our video, our photo editing, everything on there. I think we're kind of getting down as far as getting into some other stuff that's not super detailed. Does anyone, we'll open up for questions?
Is there any cutting edge CRM apps that you happen to be using?
Yeah, the CRM that we're using right now, it's amazing, and I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, but is the Buffini CRM. It runs full on your iPad. There's no difference. You can use the application on your iPad, but then at the bottom you can choose to have it run full site. It runs full site. There's nothing different on your iPad than it does from there. It's an amazing application. It runs perfectly on your iPad. So we looked at a lot of other options. The way we model our business before I ever took Buffini and coming to Remax was very, very similar. So it was an easy transition over. It's a great CRM. I really, really like it.
Can you import Outlook?
Yes.
Okay.
You can import your MailChimp, and MailChimp's got a great application, by the way, if you guys use MailChimp. I'm trying to see the applications that I really see value in. MailChimp's great. This PickView is going to be really interesting. It's just starting.
Can you explain MailChimp? Some people don't know.
Oh, MailChimp is an application like Constant Contact, where you can send out your e-newsletters, and you can put, I think it's free up to about 500 people. You can send up to 4,000 emails a month. So if your client base is of that size, it's a great application. And then in MailChimp, you'll find out the open rate, who opened it out, bounce accounts, you know, where they, if you put 4 links in an email, it'll say which stories got more interest. So you go, okay, obviously my clients are interested in reading about this, you know, a home inspector, this information, whatever it is. So you can sort of start tailoring that information. And that data that you get back from your clients obviously is super important, but you can find out those open rates, who's opening it. It scores your clients. So the clients that always open and always read your stuff get a 5-star rating. And then you can find out who's consuming your content. And it's a great application. That now is integrated very well into Buffini. Buffini has a very good email out program that's inside the CRM, but MailChimp is still a really great way to contact your clients. I see a lot of people moving from Constant Contact, it seems, over to MailChimp, but they're very similar applications. I've never used Constant Contact, so I can't really speak to just how well it works. PickView is an interesting application. You might want to play around with it. It's ThingLink. If you ever go to a website called ThingLink, Realtors are starting to use it to do their virtual tours, but basically you can take a photo and you can make it interactive. And that's sort of what PickView is doing. You can take a picture and then you can use your finger to point out things and audio record your talk, and that photo goes out and it plays it almost like a video with the photo. So if you're talking about landscaping issues or whatever it is, you can actually make the photos interactive. PickView is still a little ways away. It's new, but ThingLink, there's some virtual tours on ThingLink where guys taking a picture of the entrance of the house, and he's added, you know, click here to go to the backyard, click here to go in the front entrance, click here for that, and all of his website information. So you click to the backyard, that takes you to a link of a photo of the backyard. Do you want to go inside the back door? Do you want to go? It's really interesting. ThingLink is pretty interesting, and you can embed those photos into websites and so on and so forth. So that's ThingLink is a computer-based program, but it has a ton of value moving forward for what we do. Display recorder. This is going to be my obsession this year. This is screen capture your iPad. So if you have a CMA on your iPad or a presentation you want to give, you can easily record your iPad and everything that happens on your iPad. So if you're giving a tutorial or something you want to give some information out, screen capture for your iPad, and there's going to be some, we've all seen screen capture videos on YouTube, but it's kind of a neat application, and there's some value moving forward. If you want to do your listing presentation and your clients were, overseas right now, they're coming back, and you want to do your listing presentation, you can basically do your listing presentation and email it to them with all your audio in there. You can record just video or video and audio.
What's that one called?
DISP recorder, DISP recorder. You can find it now for $4.99 once in a while. I think it's on $9.99 right now. But it's basically, I'll show you how it works. We got a second. So you pull up the application, you press record. It's recording. It's going to kick me out, but I'll show you. And we go into Zeit. Open up Zeit. I think it's recording my audio right now. I don't know how I have it set up. But there we go. We're showing what we want to show. Exit out of there. Go back into disc recorder. Press stop. Save that. There we go. And then let's just hook up Apple TV again. I don't know why disc recorder is emails you out, but obviously you're not going to be doing it on Apple TV. So then, this is where's the 16?
But I'll show you. And we go into Zeit. Open up Zeit.
So it's recording your voice and what you're doing on your iPad. So if you're having an introductory CMA or you want to do a market report, you want to do a market report and send it out, and you've got all the stats for Abbotsford when you go and you want to go to the photos and you want to talk about it, thin through it. And then thing too as well, you can always record that and then add your audio afterwards in any application you want. But it's pretty cool. And if you've got picture-in-picture video, like the white screen videos we do, let me show you just a white screen video that we did where I see value of something like disc recorder. So let's just open this one. I think this one has a photo in it. Oh, missing content. Really?
So what are you pulling up now, Michael?
This is iMovie.
Oh, I.
So this is something. Once again, this is filmed and edited. The intro, everything on the iPad. There's a cool little intro application. You get different applications.
Welcome
But
to
if
My
you did
North Langley.
disc
I'm
recorder
Michael Thorne.
and you
Well,
had
we're giving away
images
a pair
going
of
to show up here,
tickets
but you
to
can
the
have
second annual
video
Trade
show
Show
up here.
Fulton
You can have a
Tank Wine and
tour
Beer
show up here and be
Festival.
talking about
Come
that
to
in
the
disc
Cascades
recorder.
Casino in
So you could be, you know, online and doing that sort of thing. So it's pretty neat that way. But this white screen video, this is filmed with an iPhone 4, and there's no trickery to this. This is all edited on the iPad. So doing things like this is pretty neat as far as what we do moving forward.
What app did you use for the intro?
The intro is done in this intro designer. Actually, he's a really good guy. He's from somewhere down in Central America. And there's all these different intros. We've been emailing back and forth. He's going to be releasing a bunch of business sort of TV show intro type things. But basically, you can go in here and you can, here, they'll show you this birthday. So there's an intro for a birthday. But everywhere that there's a photo or graphics, you can manipulate it. So this photo would be whatever you want it to be, and then you could have it whatever you want, and then that just makes it into, you export it, put it into iMovie, and send it out, and you do all your stuff in there. It's pretty cool. See, like this birthday one, I have this, so we can choose that template. And there's better ones to use, but let's see where we go here. So there, I just double click on that photo. I select from my library. Let's put the picture of McGavin's bird in there. Manipulate that through. And then when I go back and play it, it will automatically size it and bring it in. So you could have, you can change Mary's birthday and export that out as a video file and throw that into iMovie. That's the best. I mean, obviously you can do better stuff on your desktop, but you're on the road and you're doing quick edits. It's kind of neat. Heard people talking about Over. Over is a great way to add. It's an iPhone app to add words on top of your photos, Instagram type style. Pitch is a ridiculously valuable video editing and creating application for your iPhone. And all this stuff, a lot of the stuff I talk about is universal, or House is a pretty cool application if you want to get really great sort of content for your iPhone, or for your photos, for your like Facebook fan page and that sort of stuff. You can choose sort of area where you want to go. So I think there is a Vancouver in here. And you want to see some really cool photos. So these are all really great photos. So if you want to talk about what's it like to have the price tag, so you can find out how much that window cost. But there's some great photo on House and some great content on there if you're looking for ideas or just looking for some great visuals to put on your fan page and talk about. Would this be your dream kitchen sort of questions to kickstart some engagement? I mean, that's ridiculous. That's in Vancouver somewhere. But there's just some amazing photographs of real estate. It's all real estate. There are professional information you get there. You can get home stagers and some stuff. But the photos are breathtaking, and they've got some really great content. So that's House. Houzz. All right, so questions. Are there any questions about stuff we covered or didn't cover? So it's basically obviously scratching the surface and just kind of, it's way over too much, but I hope some of you leave the room going, yeah, this is sort of where I see the value in this, and I want to have it go this way. Once again, I want to pick my brain, talk, pick up the phone, get on a Skype or a Google Hangout, you want to come to the office, honestly, I'm not just making that offer just half-heartedly. Really, if you ever want to pick my brain, call me. I will learn as much from you as you'll learn from me. So there you go.
What's Local Mind?
Local Mind is an application that sort of runs off Foursquare.
Okay.
And so what you do is you end up, if you become checked in a certain area, this is North Langley. A lot of the stuff runs off what we're doing with My North Langley. But you become expert at certain locations, and people will ask you, where should I go for a cup of coffee in this neighborhood? What's the best school? Where's the best park? And you'll just get text messages, anonymous from the person sending it to you and anonymous sending it back, where you can just help people out in your neighborhood and share information, because through Foursquare, Local Mind determines you visit coffee shops all over the Lower Mainland, so you become the coffee shop expert in the Lower Mainland. Or if you're always visiting movie theaters or local restaurants, you can become an expert in certain things and become very knowledgeable, and that's sort of Local Mind. It runs off Foursquare check-ins. I'll hang out words. If there's any questions afterwards, I've got more time, so I will hang out afterwards and be happy to answer your questions.
So if everybody liked what they saw, if you're not a member of the meetup group, join the meetup group and say something about Michael Thorne. Give him a little kudos, or tweet it out, or put it on Facebook. And anybody need a meetup group card, I've got some here for the address. Thanks very much, Mike. Give him a hand.
Oh, and one more thing just before you go. I'll add some things. Jot Pro is the best stylus pen out there. I've tried a ton. Jot Pro's $20. One of the reasons why it's so great, it's got a really thin clear where it touches the screen. It's amazing. I forgot to go through this stuff with you. These little speakers are ridiculous. You can pick them up at Costco for like $15, but they open up, and the sound that comes out of this is amazing. So if you're doing a presentation and you want audio and your iPad's horrible, these are called XMI. They're like, I plugged this in. I got these from Christmas from my wife, and I plugged them in, and my mother-in-law came up and told me to shut it down. It was too loud. So those are really, really cool.
XMI?
Those are I think they're, yeah, no, this little cord comes out, and you just pop them in, and then you can have multiple ones. You get two for like $30, and you just charge them through USB, but they run powers on now, and it's super loud. So if you're doing a presentation with audio, this is a camera connection kit. You get these, I think, both for like $25. This will put your card reader straight into your iPad, but this is the most valuable one. This is a USB to iPhone or to iPad. So when I shoot my white screen video here, I connect this into here with the wire that you have for charging. It sucks my photos and my video onto my iPad. Likewise, anytime you have a USB connected device, this blue mic, which quality is ridiculous, so if you're ever doing voiceover, like you're sending those disc replay, or you're doing we used to have a podcast, we're switching more to video now, but this will run directly into your iPad, and the quality is amazing. So these little tiny camera connection kits have a ton of value for running USB type stuff. When we do our videos, we use a lav mic through a KV connection. It's $23. So lav mic straight into the iPhone, straight into the iPad, records the audio. I'm not separating them, syncing them up. It's recording it straight away. And we use a widescreen angle lens from HD Hat. They do ridiculously wide angle lens. That's really nice. That's about $160, but right now it seems like there's a lot more attachments to the iPhone that are a lot smaller that give you fisheye and wide angle lens for about $50, and you can find some of those things that are a little bit more portable. Glyph is a great thing to add your iPhone to add onto a tripod. It's a little hang-on. It's called Glyph, but we have a plastic one that goes in and gets onto the tripod if we're doing videos and whatnot. We want to have a stable connection. So there's a lot of cool little add-ons that you can put to your iPad, and there's more and more coming. But this is definitely, the Jot Knot is the pen that you want to have. Now I'm done.